What's up, y'all? Welcome to our weekend vlog. Oh wait, weekday vlog. In the Outer Banks. My sister here. We were stuck in like 2 hours of traffic, and we're probably like 30 minutes away from Outer Banks. But we're going to Kitty Hawk. We're actually still 51 minutes away. So earlier today we went looking for my sister's first flip. I'm her real estate agent, and we're just kind of learning as we go. This will both be our first flip. But anyways, it needed a lot more work than we had originally thought, to say the least. And what we learned today was it's best to buy a house that was built after at least the 50s or 60s. Because if you buy any property built prior to the 50s, there's a lot of risks involved, and the repairs kind of add up. When the contractor goes into the house and starts tearing down walls, then you realize quick that you're going over budget.
Problems that you didn't know were there. Because it's so old.
Yeah, so houses built like after the 50s and 60s have a easier layout, most of them. It's best to start with those. What the contractor was telling us was he has one client that got a house that was built in the early 1900s, and his original budget was $90,000, but they realized real quick that things were adding up and costs were adding up. 3,900 square feet, so huge property, which sounds amazing until you get it, and then you realize you bit off more than you could chew. To spend more than you thought and lose money with the flip, you wouldn't want to do that, especially for your very first flip. So our goal is to not only break even, but to actually make money after all is said and done. So then another big thing that we realized with this property was the upstairs did not have any AC. Getting an AC upstairs with all the like piping, the wires and piping and all that is a difficult process that can really add up.
You said 20 grand.
20 grand, if not more. It's very costly, and it's something you have to watch out for as a flipper or a first-time flipper. You don't want to be spending all your money on stuff like that. It's crucial because you need AC upstairs because it gets hot, and that's a big red flag right there. If a buyer is coming in to buy a house and there's no AC upstairs,
Said you can do like the window unit thing.
you can do a window unit. It's not as effective, but that is a cheaper option. It also had a radiator throughout all the rooms, and it was still functioning as we know, at least. The only issue with that is it's a radiator, kind of outdated. There was no HVAC, there was no heat pump or any of that. It had a boiler and radiator, so kind of a red flag. Wasn't worth putting in an offer, really, but we're gonna keep looking. Another big suggestion that I have for any new flippers is get yourself a general contractor. You have general contractors and then subcontractors. There's a difference. General contractors are more expensive, but what they basically do is they watch over the subcontractors. They're the ones that bring them in and kind of are in charge, which is why they're more expensive, because you have to not only pay the subcontractors, but also the general contractor. It's really good to have and crucial to have if you're new, especially. And the reason why is because you don't want to put an offer on a house before you know how much work is gonna have to be done. Mind you, they're not inspectors. The inspector is really who's gonna tell you exactly what's wrong and what needs to be fixed, and things that you can't really see just walking through a house. But it's really important to have a general contractor come in with you and check out the property to give you an idea of whether it really is even worth putting in an offer. And it really shows you how much you can put an offer for on the property.
So a way to find out potential flip is gonna be a good move or not which is how much is the house going to be worth once you make it all pretty. So find that number. You can find that number by doing comps. So, you know, compare the houses within like a mile have sold within the last few months of that property and compare it to see how much this house could potentially be worth. So anyway, get that number and times it by 70%. So on the calculator, times 0.70. So whatever number you get when you times it, that's how much total you should pay for the property for before the flip and the construction to do the flip. That's a good rule of thumb that you can do. And also, to help you with that, because you might not know, just like Jake said, get the contractor to look around the house before you put an offer, so that you'll know that number.
Kind of just have an idea.
Yeah, to add it to the, you know, offer you're gonna put in to make sure that you're gonna be compensated enough for it worth it.
Right. So, funny story, we went to one house that was really low priced, and on the pictures, like for the MLS, it looked really nice, modern, and updated. But we came into the house, and the whole house was cricket.
The walls and the floors and everything. No closets in any rooms.
No closet where we live. If a room does not have a closet, it's not considered a bedroom. I know there's some exceptions, but if all the rooms don't have closets, would those really be considered bedrooms? It's really a turnoff to buyers too. Buyers, they want a bedroom with a closet. Anyways, the house was really crooked. It needed a lot of structural work, and that is a lot of money. And your budget really eats up fast for those type of houses. The other thing to look at when you're buying your first flip is things like the solid foundation. Make sure that the roofing is good, there's no water leaking through. Make sure you're getting termite and moisture inspection, a regular inspection, so that you know what the issues are, whether it be major, minor, whatever. You want to at least know that, so when you're going to repair, you're not like, oh shoot, it needed this, that, and the other. You have an idea what needs to be done. HVAC is a big thing too, like we talked about. That is not to deter anyone from flipping. That is to kind of help you in the early game and the long run, because you don't want to do your first flip and then spend so much money and not end up making any money at all, but losing it. You don't want that to happen, especially for your first one. Any advice would be appreciated too, because we are just talking from the knowledge that we know, which isn't that much. Oh my gosh, what the heck? It's just a random water park.